Hey everyone, I'm Rachel.
And I'm David.
We are currently sailing on the Sun Princess in the Caribbean with Princess Cruises.
Yeah, the Sun Princess debuted in April of 2024, and it's one of the newer cruise ships out there, but there's a lot of debate online about whether this is worth cruising or not.
Yeah, we have seen people upset about the buffet, limited show seating, and lack of other activities, as well as so many other things. Come with us to see if we think people are being too harsh or if they're right about the Sun Princess.
Let's go. The Sun Princess was unveiled as the future of cruising by Princess Cruises, and they're even building an almost identical sister ship to debut in October of 2025 called the Star Princess. However, there have been many debates online about if this new class of ship is as good as Princess claims it is.
We want to show you what we've observed on board and give you our honest opinion so that you can form some of your own. Since David and I have sailed on the Sun Princess 3 times now, we have some strong opinions. We'll also talk to my mom at the end to get her thoughts during her first time on the Sun Princess.
All of the topics we're going to discuss today have been hotly debated in Facebook groups, Reddit, Princess's social media, and even online forums.
Let's start with the elevators. This new elevator system is not specific to the Sun Princess. We've actually seen it personally on a Carnival ship as well, but it is very divisive. Instead of getting on any open elevator and selecting a floor, you use the pads outside to select your desired floor. The pad then tells you which elevator to go to.
We love these elevators, with a few caveats. They make the process of getting where you need to go so much smoother, and the system generally doesn't overcrowd the elevators. The only times we've really noticed overcrowding are on the first and last days, which are times when every cruise ship has difficulty keeping up with the elevator demand, and when everyone is trying to get off of the ship at the beginning of a port day.
It can be a little frustrating when a very large group is trying to go to the same place as you are and they only press their floor once. The elevator won't understand that you have a group of 10 waiting alongside your group of 2 or 3, but you can always press the button again and it will send a new one. I also can't stress enough that you should never jump in an open elevator without selecting a floor first. It will throw off the entire algorithm and likely cause another party to not get where they're trying to go.
The next big topic up for debate is the buffet. It is called the Eatery on the Sun Princess. The biggest critique we hear is that it gets too crowded, and people blame that on the fact that you cannot self-serve at this buffet. Instead, they have a crew member at every station that will serve you as much as you want.
The Eatery definitely does get busy, especially during breakfast on sea days. Luckily, they have some overflow seating in the Americana diner, as well as the most outdoor seating we've ever seen for a buffet on a cruise ship, and most of it is covered. There still might be times where you won't find a table, but in our experience, that's the case with every buffet on a cruise ship during sea days.
We love the variety of foods at the Eatery, and it is the best buffet food we've actually ever had on a cruise ship. There are tons of things they will make custom and fresh for you, like fresh pasta with a variety of sauce options, stir fry, or even custom salads. Eating here for dinner is usually a laid-back and a delicious experience.
There are actually a ton of food options on the Sun Princess. You have 2 different grills that serve burgers, pizza, and tacos, multiple places for specialty coffees and pastries, and a large variety of specialty dining with an added cost. That can be a good or a bad thing depending on how you feel about upcharges, but we can tell you that Umai Teppanyaki is 100% worth it.
Really, the only downside about the food options on the Sun Princess is the timing. Everything other than the International Cafe closes at 10 or 11 p.m. depending on the night, which means your options are extremely limited to a handful of pastries or small sandwiches. There's also room service, and the Eatery keeps a handful of grab-and-go items out all night. But overall, it would be really nice if a hot food venue, like pizza for instance, stayed open until the bars close.
The next hotly debated topic is venue size. This pertains to the Princess Arena, which replaced the Princess Theater in this class of ship, the Dome, Piazza, and Princess Live. Our experience with the shows have been very similar to what we've seen online. If you want to get a good spot for anything in the arena or the dome, you have to get there more than half an hour early, sometimes even an hour.
Unlike many other ships, the Sun Princess uses the piazza as an entertainment hub. They host mini circus shows, game shows, and music there every day. They have built-in seating on the second and third levels, which is nice if you don't want to stand, but the seating is extremely limited and the seats are pushed back from the railing, so the main floor is partially blocked for many spectators. It is designed in a way that unfortunately means you'll probably end up standing to get a good view.
Princess Live is the venue for smaller trivias, game shows, and the Laugh Lounge comedians. How crowded it gets depends on the activity. We've seen it nearly empty during some trivias, then standing room only for comedians. It just proves again that Princess didn't fully understand the demand for some types of entertainment when they were designing the venues on the Sun Princess.
And the last venue we'll talk about is Deck 19, previously known as Park 19. Park 19 was supposed to be a first-of-its-kind area with climbing, a roll glider, splash zone, and all kinds of other activities for ages 16 and up. When we first sailed on the Sun Princess in April of 2024, they were actively testing the roll glider, and they were still hopeful that they could make it work. However, Princess officially abandoned the concept in July of 2024.
There are still hammocks and couches on Deck 19, but it's open to all ages and missing any of the entertainment they originally promised. The roll glider space has been turned into a basketball court, and the walking track is really the only other thing happening up there. It's a little disappointing that they abandoned the entire Park 19 concept, since it would have been the first of its kind, and this ship lacks dedicated adult-only spaces.
The space is wasted right now. We really hope Princess will come up with a better use for this deck on both the Sun and the Star Princess.
We've also seen a lot of debate about the casino, and we have some strong opinions as well. Firstly, all of Princess's casinos are still smoking friendly. They claim to have smoke-free sections, but only a small area separates the smoking from the non. This is especially true on the Sun Princess, as the areas are very tight and the casino gets super crowded. We frequently saw people who were not gambling just standing in the casino so they could smoke without going outside, which meant the entire space stinks. The smoke smell even permeates out into the beautiful piazza. Even if you don't mind the smoke, this makes the casino extremely crowded, and finding a machine to play can be impossible at peak times.
There is no bar in this casino. They do roll in a portable bar, which makes the small, crowded space even harder to navigate, and overall, it just seems like the wait staff is very disengaged. You have to go out of your way if you want to get a drink while gambling. Since it gets so crowded, it also gets super hot. This was not an isolated experience. It happened basically every night of all 3 of the cruises we have taken on the Sun Princess. It is great that they are upfront with the rewards you will get for playing, but honestly, the experience of playing on the Sun Princess is not very pleasant.
That's our rundown of the hot topics aboard the Sun Princess. Now let's see what my mom thinks about it.
This is David and I's 3rd cruise on the Sun Princess, but this is my mom's 1st cruise on the Sun Princess. So I wanted to get her fresh perspective on some of the amenities. Mom, what are your opinions about some of the things on the Sun Princess?
I really love the fresh look that they have. It just seems clean and sleek and so updated from the other ships. The other ships are lovely, but this one is special.
I agree. 100%. It's so much lighter and brighter than any of the other cruise ships, and you can see that in the dining rooms, you can see it in all of the venues, you can definitely see it in the staterooms. As you can tell, it's much brighter in here. So again, I said Mom has been in some of the Facebook groups, and I know that a lot of people talk about the elevator specifically. They don't like that the elevators don't have buttons on the inside and that you have to press your floor and then it tells you which elevator to go to. What is your opinion?
I love the elevator. I wasn't sure how I would feel about it, but once you get on the ship and realize how easy it is, how streamlined it is, it's amazing in my opinion.
So another thing that people have commented negatively about online is the Eatery, which is the buffet, but it's not like a traditional cruise buffet in that you get served instead of just walking up and grabbing what you want. So, Mom, what do you think of the eatery?
I actually wasn't sure how I would feel about that, but I really appreciate them doing the serving to you. It seems to keep maybe a lot of things cleaner, and people aren't just able to breathe on the food.
Well, we have a lot of kids on this cruise, and I feel like it's definitely keeping the germs away on that end.
And I haven't noticed that it's a big holdup. As a matter of fact, it seems like maybe it goes a little bit smoother because people, as they don't have to fill their plate as they're doing it, someone else is filling their plate for them. And so while there may be a line, I don't think it's any more of a line than there was during the serve yourself buffet era.
So this new class of ship has a little bit of a different layout than traditional princess ships. On the Lido deck, they don't have a lot of food, like the buffet is not up there. It's just the traditional like grill, pizza, that sort of thing, and then your pools. So, Mom, what is your opinion of the Lido layout?
I don't think so much of my opinion has to do with the layout of the Lido. It has to do with probably a cruise where people are taking their children. This is a New Year's cruise, so there are lots of kids out of school. And the one day that we went to the Lido, it was great.
We were in port, though.
We were in port, and a lot of people were off the ship. That day was lovely. There were enough chairs. There were lots of people, but it didn't feel crowded. But yesterday at a day on sea, it felt very crowded. Finding a chair to sit on was a problem. Finding a place to sit near the pool was a problem. So if I had any complaint about this cruise, it would be that. And that there's not an adult pool. There is an adult hot tub, a couple of them, but there's not an adult pool.
Yeah, I would agree. I think on older class of princess ships, they always had an adults only area that had at least a pool and one hot tub. And that was kind of the sanctuary, especially on a busy cruise where kids are out of school. And normally on Princess, you don't have a lot of kids on a ship, so it's kind of just different in general. But for this ship, they have an adults only area that's just 2 hot tubs. And it's not really enough for the demand that you have here. And the kids, are just splashing around. And honestly, the pools are so close together, it feels more like one pool. It's not really 2 separate pools. So yeah, I agree 100%. I think they could have done better designing the ship in a way that gave more separation between different spots and also gave the adults a better place to be. So another thing about this ship is that they have a lot of dining options. There's a lot of paid dining and a lot of included dining as well. But traditionally, a lot of people like to go to the main dining room on a cruise, and you get the same waiter every night, so they get to know your preferences. But it all depends on the menu. So on this cruise, we did have the same time scheduled every single night in the main dining room, and you can choose to cancel or keep your reservation depending on what you thought of that menu that night. So, Mom, what's your opinion of the main dining room experience and the menus they've offered on board?
I have always loved the main dining room experience. I love having the same person every day. I love them knowing your preferences, and when you come in and they know your drink and all that kind of thing. That's just always been a special cruise thing for me. This one, the dining options in the main dining room, they've not been things that I would like to eat. There seems to be a lot of seafood options and not a lot of
Simpler,
normal.
yeah, not like beef and chicken. They always have princess favorites that have like one chicken dish and one beef dish, but there's not a lot of options. Specifically, like there have been nights where I would be like, if I'm going to the dining room, I'm just getting the fettuccine Alfredo, which is like their standard princess favorite that's there every night. And I don't really want to have fettuccine Alfredo 5 nights in a row.
But we did go to the dining room, and it was lovely. I mean, the ambiance and the openness, and it's amazing. But the food choices were not so amazing. So that was kind of disappointing.
One thing we made sure to do when we got on board was make a reservation for the Umai Teppanyaki, which my mom loves teppanyaki. It was one of her only requests on the cruise. So we made sure to go and get a dinner reservation for that. So Mom, what was your opinion of the teppanyaki?
It was amazing. Simply amazing. One of the best meals I've had. It was maybe ever.
Yeah, it was definitely the best teppanyaki I've ever had for sure. And we've had some good ones.
We have. And the atmosphere was great. The food preparers are just
Really great.
really great.
Funny.
I can see why there's issues getting reservations because it's a smaller area. So you don't feel like you're in a huge, busy place. It's an amazing experience, and the food is just great.
Yeah, I agree. The food was amazing. I think if I did have a critique, it would be that they only have 3 what they call show times. So they have 3 seatings, and all of their teppanyaki tables get sat at the same time. So it was very loud when they were preparing the food. But it was kind of fun in a way because the preparers also, like, they would start singing a song and then another one would start singing a song and they're like, oh, we had to sing louder than their table. And so we kind of went back and forth on that. But once everybody was done with the actual show part of it and we were eating, the food was phenomenal and completely worth the extra charge and completely worth any hassle you might have trying to make the reservation. So one of the big things that is important to us when we go on a cruise is the casino, just because we are gamblers. So Mom, what is your opinion of the casino on the Sun Princess?
Well, I was hoping when they were building the new ship that they would have a non-smoking casino. Not the case. They do have a non-smoking section, but like on the other ships,
The smoke just
it goes over. Yeah. And with having the tables in the middle and people can smoke at the tables, it's not a non-smoking area. So I think that Princess really needs to step up and do a non-smoking casino. If for nothing else for their ship too, because I think after a while, when we've been on other ships, the casino just smells like smoke.
Yes.
Even if no one's smoking in there, it just lingers.
Well, and with it being right next to the piazza, and they specifically on this ship have a lot of seating in the piazza and even some restaurants right next to it, those areas are going to suffer for the smoke smell at some point.
Correct. And they have a good variety of games. There are a lot of people, a lot of workers in the casino, but I don't think that they're engaged. Maybe they are engaged with the people who win the jackpots, but they're not engaged with the other people. And the services in there, not really up to the other ships that we've been on. That's just one little complaint that they need to step up their game on.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And as far as like the drink service, I was sitting next to somebody who said that they waited an hour for their drink the other night. I'm not sure if that's true or not because I wasn't there the entire hour. But I also have noticed that in general, the service employees inside the casino seem to be walking around and not really, they're kind of avoiding eye contact with people. Except for one lady, there was one very nice crew member that did actually walk up to me 2 nights in a row and asked specifically if I wanted a drink. And I appreciated that. But otherwise, everybody else seems to be just kind of walking laps around the casino, which is excessively hard because it's very crowded in there at night. And so they're just kind of taking up more room than anything that they're actually doing for their job function. So like I said before, this is David and I's 3rd cruise on the Sun Princess, and we have had the same captain every single time. And we are so glad we have. Captain Arrigo is from Italy, and he's a 3rd generation Princess employee. His grandfather and his father were both chefs on different cruise ships for Princess. We love him. He is so engaging. His noon addresses are my favorite of anybody. But Mom, what is your opinion of Captain Arrigo?
He seems very personable. I mean, he gets on the noon announcement and he seems like he's having fun.
Yeah.
And that's what you want in a captain, Because if the captain's like that, it kind of trickles down to everyone else, and is very, very personable.
One thing that is very different on the ship is just the stateroom configuration in general, but specifically the bathrooms. Typically on a princess ship, if you are in a balcony room or lower, you will just have a tiny shower with a shower curtain, and then a mini suite and above might have a full bathtub. But on this ship, every single bathroom has a full glass panel shower. So, Mom, what is your opinion?
Me being a little older and not as agile, the smaller showers were a problem, especially when you have to shake your legs as a woman. And they have fixed that here in the Sun. There's a little bar that allows for shaving your legs and everything. And the extra room and just having the glass door is amazing. You don't feel like you're going to spill the water out with the little shower curtain. I did have a question about how the door opened. It opens the way that I don't think it should.
It opens outward. It's kind of, you have to finagle yourself around the toilet, around the door, into the shower. So it is kind of awkward still to get into.
But given the option of the shower curtain versus the shower door, I'll take the shower door any day. And I love the larger showers.
So with the three of us, we have an Oceanview cabin. And traditionally on any other ship, that would mean a pull-down bed for the third person from the ceiling. Mom is that person, since David and I usually try to sleep in the same bed. But on this cruise and on this ship, they don't have any of those pull down for the third person. They have a couch in anything above an interior room. So, Mom, what is your opinion of that?
Well, I have had to climb the ladder a few times to get up to the bed. And being a late night gambler, sometimes it has been an issue. This configuration with the sleeper couch is amazing. It's very comfortable. It doesn't seem like it gets in the way. I've loved not having to go up the stairs.
Do you feel like this cabin has a lot of room for three people? Like, do you feel more comfortable in this than maybe an interior or other room that we've had in the past?
I do. We have a seat that looks out over the window, and I think that adds extra depth to the room. It just feels more open, and I think it adds some space to the room.
So since we do have an Oceanview cabin on this voyage, and we've had balconies with Mom in the past, Mom, what is your opinion of an Oceanview versus a balcony? And if you think maybe an Oceanview is worth it if it's, cheaper than the balcony room?
I think it depends on where you're going. I think on this particular cruise, we aren't typically near land. So I think this room is a great value for this cruise. The cruise that you have to have a balcony for is like the Alaskan cruise that we had. I think that if you're going to spend the money to go to Alaska on a cruise, you need to get the balcony. But I do believe that for this, the Sun Princess, for this cruise, I have loved this. I don't feel like I'm cheated out of having a balcony. I think the window seat is a great option that they've given. So I think this kind of room is great for this cruise.
Yeah, and you should definitely check if you're looking at whether you should book an Oceanview or a balcony, the specific ship you're going to be on, and just the layout of the specific room you might be looking at booking, because there are, on the Sun Princess, I think every Oceanview has a seat by their window, but there are a lot of ships where the Oceanview is just a window above your bed that you can't really see out of very easily. So just double check before you book one. But I will definitely agree, if you are going to Alaska, just buy the balcony room. Like, it's completely and 100% worth it. Also, and on my opinion, and Mom hasn't gotten to do this yet, but will later this year when you go to Europe, get the balcony room. It's anywhere, if you're going somewhere that you haven't been, it's a bucket list item for you, just buy the balcony room. The Oceanview room on this ship is beautiful and wonderful, and we've enjoyed it, but bucket list places deserve balcony rooms. And just like any other cruise ship, there are shops on this one. This is organized just a little bit differently in that they're not really putting a bunch of stuff in your face in the walkways like they typically do in the piazza. There's a handful of shops on 2 different decks, and that's really where they keep most of the onboard promotions. So, Mom, what is your opinion of the shops on the Sun Princess?
There are normally little kiosks by the piazza. Why some people don't like them, I do. So I miss that. I mean, it's just walking by them and seeing what they have and that kind of thing. Not like you can't walk down by the shops, but they don't have them out like they do on the other ships.
Yeah.
So some people like it that way, some people don't. But I have noticed that on the Sun Princess, they have a lot of high class items.
Yeah.
Louis Vuitton bags, Chanel bags, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So if you're coming to buy a cheaper bag, it's probably not going to happen on the ship. You might have to wait till you get to port. The shops are very nice, very clean. They do have a few lower price items, but all in all, they are pretty pricey. So if you're planning to come on board and do some cheap shopping, other than the next to the last day when they have the market that has all the
small
items that they sell for
like $10, or buy 4 get 5 get the 5th free, things like that.
that kind of thing. Unless you go to that, you're not going to find cheaper items. So plan accordingly.
So we are on a 7-day Caribbean cruise that goes to San Juan and St. Thomas. But one of the key reasons we booked this particular cruise was because it was over New Year's. We've never done a holiday cruise before, and we were really curious, so we decided why not. So Mom, what is your opinion of the New Year celebration on board?
There were a lot of venues to choose from. They had the main venue on the Lido deck, but other places on board had music and that kind of thing going. It was a nice celebration. They gave us party hats and glasses and that kind of thing. Every room got some, and so everybody was celebrating. You could celebrate in many places, and people were dressed up. People were not dressed up. Come as you were, but it was a good celebration.
Yeah, and they had some special like desserts and things in some of the different dining rooms. They all had little cupcakes with a 2024 chocolate on top. They had croquet bushes out. They had ice sculptures with 2025 on them. I would say for me, the only thing that I would have preferred is if they'd had some sort of like something to drop. We do have a video of the countdown, and the screen glitched out at the very wrong moment, and so our countdown kind of got disrupted. There wasn't really like a big like bang, but it was really special to right after midnight. Band did play Auld Lang Syne, but then the captain started playing the Love Boat theme song on the horn, so that was really cute. So this was David and my first cruise as elite status with Princess, and this was my mom's first cruise as platinum status with Princess. So we decided to go to the Captain's Circle event for the first time. We've been invited ever since we turned platinum, but we just had never attended. What that is the platinum and elite members get to go to a special cocktail party where there are drinks included. So even if you don't have a drink package, you can get a drink. And there's a captain's address. You get to meet some of the officers, and they show the most well-traveled guests on board, as well as give away some prizes. So Mom, what was your opinion about the Captain's Circle cocktail party?
I thought it was very nice. It was held in the Dome, which is the first event that I had been to that was held in the Dome. So it was a very nice setting. Most people were dressed up, and you could tell that the people who were well-traveled attended it every time.
Yes.
And the drinks were flowing. Our crew person was a little shocked that we were all wanting the non-alcoholic drink, but that seemed not to be our thing. So, and then when Rachel won one of the prizes, which was a bottle of champagne or a bottle of wine, sorry, That was pretty funny, but we ended up getting it to a nice couple. But that was fun.
So our captain, did his normal address, and he brought up the doc from the Love Boat TV series. He happens to be on our cruise. And so he got up on the mic and said a few things, but it was a pretty funny and special thing because our captain had been on the original Love Boat with his father and grandfather who were working on it at the time. And so he and the doc had met before. And so it was just a really cute little moment. And then they did give away 2 bottles of alcohol and a ship model. I wish I had won the ship model. It was really nice to just go to my first Captain Circle event and win something. I did not expect that at all. So. Thanks for joining us on our exploration of the Sun Princess. We actually have another cruise booked on this ship in a month, and I'm really glad. It has some quirks, but it's beautiful, new, spacious, and the perfect place to relax for a little while.
Yeah, I really don't think I can emphasize enough just how beautiful I think this ship is. I think the layout makes sense. I wish some venues were a little bit bigger, but overall, everywhere I go, I feel like the aesthetic of it is just so gorgeous.
Yes, and ultimately, a cruise is what you make of it. If you go into it with patience and a flexible attitude, you're going to have a great time regardless of what ship you're on.
Yeah, so what do you think? Have you sailed on the Sun Princess? Are you deterred from going on the Sun Princess because of some of the things you might have seen online? Let us know in the comments below.
And if you enjoyed this video and want to see more travel content from us, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. But for now, I'm Rachel.
And I'm David.
And we hope this video helps you find the right direction for your next adventure.
Bye.